This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. No utility impacts are indicated as rivers recede, but April showers are likely again Sunday afternoon through Wednesday, off and on, but with light amounts of rainfall expected. Now, overall, this period to see about half of less than normal total precipitation despite these periodic light showers moving on through, mostly from the south and eventually from the west. Dry project weather will develop on Thursday. It's a little tenuous based on timing changes, but benign thunder is possible across western and southern Vermont along about Friday. We may need to monitor further developments, but temperatures overall above normal into Tuesday. Then they cool off the rest of this week and beyond into this coming weekend as a slightly cooler air works its way out of Canada. There's the potential for a warm-up. This would be happening next week, and some indications are temperatures could be pretty toasty. We'll see. Looking at the current analysis, we have a lot of clouds associated with this trough and this upper-level cutoff low. You can see where there's a distinct area of ridge of higher pressure and then another trough out here over the western Atlantic, I guess. And back over the west coast, another trough moving in, but we also have a ridge of higher pressure building in. Notice a kind of trough ridge, trough pattern, and then up in portions of Canada, much more of a zonal flow, and colder air is still locking in. In fact, you can see where there's even some snow occurring up in the northern areas, and you can see where temperatures are fairly cold as you get into Hudson Bay. Really not that unusual for this time of year, and the overall trends are we're going to see this kind of continue with even a little bit of snow as we get into this next weekend, probably north of about Quebec City and north of Petawawa. Up in this particular area, it looks like another significant snowfall, so that's going to grease the skids for any colder air occasionally coming down and visiting us, and it looks like there is one such situation that'll be developing as we get into this coming weekend. Might even produce a little bit of wet snow in our local mountains sometime along about Saturday night or so. On this Easter Sunday, we see just another little bit of shower activity moving through Vermont with slight gray colors there. That's just a few hundredths of an inch, and that's going to be about it. We dry out a little bit overnight, and then yet another condition, area of low pressure will develop well off to the south and east of our region. It'll sort of hug the eastern part of New England and swing in some moisture just about across eastern portions of Vermont. It's kind of been going kind of back and forth. Now, meanwhile, keep your eyes on this weather system and note these blue temperatures. This is where there's colder air again, as I was mentioning. This system comes in in a fury from the west, and it'll just bring us rain shower activity, but it kind of weakens, as you'll see. And then it moves on out. So it's kind of a flash, and a little colder aloft. Doesn't look like we'll see any issues there. And then we have our best dry weather day after that colder, drier, denser air moves on in with a little ridge of higher pressure, and it'll bring us a decent project weather day on Thursday. That's looking like the pick of the week. Beyond that, got to watch a little bit more shower activity kind of work in on Friday morning. And then a stronger short wave kind of spins up and then pushes in. It looks like it's negatively tilted. So areas of low pressure generally east of our region across the coastal areas could develop and kind of push off and then north and east. And that'll pull in some colder air for this coming weekend. And just taking you 7 days out, you see how is a possibility we could see a little bit of snow. It looks very, very limited and mostly confined to our highest elevations, and especially in the Northeast Kingdom. Centered on the grid point of Barre Montpelier EF Knapp Airport, we see the GFS ensemble. And this is 3-hour quantitative precipitation forecast, accumulated total rainfall. And you can see only about 1/10 of an inch with some outliers here. This is our next big shot of precip. That's that shortwave trough that's working in from the Great Lakes and produces a little round of April showers. Nothing major in the longer range, as you can see here. Now, total precipitation through this period, you can see that it's not a big deal. We're talking about 4/10 of an inch, and so we're looking at about half or less than half of normal rainfall through this entire period. Switching to gradient winds, no real issues there as our 10-meter winds shown here, but looking at 850 millibar or hectopascal winds, they're under basically 40 knots, and it's this area, anything higher than that, we can start to see maybe a low-level jet that could affect us with approaching thresholds, but it doesn't look like we're going to see anything major there. Now, moving right along, let's take a look at temperatures here. 2-meter temperatures, you can see that we're starting out warmer. Daytime highs in the 60s, overnight lows basically in the 40s to 50s, and then the temperatures make with that cold front and that system on Wednesday, will lower the temperature, and this is actually a good place to be this time of year, no extreme weather. Looking further ahead here at a different parameter, we're looking at dew points, and there's really nothing to worry about here until we get into the 50s and the 60s, so no issues there. Beyond that, precipitable water, big moisture influx. We have one little shot, again, just out ahead of that next shortwave trough on Wednesday, around 1 inch amounts. It does not look like it's going to deliver in terms of total precipitation, so no worries there. And overall, looking fairly long range here, there is just one possibility of a little bit of snow. This is way down the rotor piece, the 27, 28, so beyond this period. Total precipitation, you can see 0.25 of an inch in the red here. A little bit more as you get into Vermont, about ½ inch. And again, this is a 7-day total QPF. Over the next 5 days, our maximum high temperatures during the daytime, they'll run about 3 degrees above normal. Nothing major there, but things do cool off as we get past Wednesday, and that's going to weight the temperature downward. So here's neutral, and we're about 3 degrees below normal in some parts of northern Vermont. Coldest weather on the planet right now is really in the northern hemisphere, situated in northern Canada into the northern half of Hudson Bay, so associated with some Arctic air that is displaced. Anytime you see warm air in Alaska, typically this pushes on down, but we're kind of buffered now. Now, the other thing to note here is kind of discombobulated trends all over the place. The Arctic has cooled off considerably, only 3 degrees or 0.3 of a degree above normal. However, when that typically happens, the Antarctic starts to interact, and we start to see that warm up, and that's exactly what's taking place. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.